Welcome everyone to the ELCS post-game lobby after tonight's action. In the ELCS, I'm Sjokz here with Jarge, Ender, and PerkZ. Congratulations!
Thank you, thank you.
Great stuff. This is actually the first time in almost a year that you guys have beaten Fnatic. Why do you think it happened this time around?
Well, so we lost a lot in summer split, right? 2 best of 3s. We were like in a slump back then, and Fnatic was in a rise. And then this last split, we were a complete new team. Well, Fnatic was a team for a year and a half. So it was quite obvious we were going to be worse team than them. Like, if we were not worse team than them, it would be just like really sad by them. So now when we had like the whole split to build our foundations and how to like have the same game knowledge and understand the game, like we have a lot to learn more, of course, right? But now we are playing a lot more as a team and we just understand the game, I think, on like very high level. I mean, very high level for EU teams. Obviously, like we would probably not smash Korean teams like this, you know, but you never know. And yeah, now we just got the number.
I love how you're already careful. You're like, guys, I didn't say that we're the best team in the world. We're just, we have control of what we want to do in EU, and it's working for us. And a big question for us and the analysts was, well, G2 runs that funnel comp. They win against everyone, but can they do it versus Fnatic? What do you guys think it came down to that they were able to succeed today against a strong Fnatic?
I mean, so they weren't really punished by Fnatic in the early game. It felt there were those two early ganks from PerkZ that made us a little bit worried on the desk that G2 weren't going to pull out on top. But then in the end, it was you and Wadid walking around the map, killing everything. You guys just got to that threshold where you could train wreck them over.
Yeah, I think we're just proactive. Like everyone is now really proactive, and everyone looks to make plays, and we are just punishing them for their mistakes, which we would not actually do last split. So now, yeah, we're just more competitive.
And it also felt like you guys' composition, you literally could just never die because you had Tom Kench, and you were Xayah, and you had a Morgana. Like they were just never going to kill you. It felt like once you got to that certain point.
You said in the video before, people always say it's Caps versus PerkZ, but this is Fnatic versus G2. However, it must feel kind of good. Like this is a comp that's built around you, and you're able to really do what you're set on the map to do.
Well, the thing is, like with these comps, people say it's the main guy, like the one guy who's carrying, but that's actually like completely false. Like who is carrying is the whole team, because it's so hard to play for other lanes without jungler. And I, as a player, I'm good at playing with good teams, and I'm good at playing like when everything is set. And now my teammates are so fucking good that they do they just engage for me, they peel for me, they are not losing lanes when they have a jungler, and it's just like so easy for me to play the game. And the only thing I have to do in return is not die. So I just do that, right? And I do my job, and they do their job. And
do you think you've reached a level of synergy now that is much better than in spring?
Oh, it's like so much better. Like it's not even comparable. Yeah.
Yeah, it even seems in the interviews, it's just like Jarge and they're just making jokes and you're laughing here at what they're saying. And it's important. Like it shouldn't only be on the Rift. It should be everywhere, and it's really showing. And we want to start a bit of a conversation about who the best team in Europe is right now. And it is right now because it is difficult to say who will be the best team at the end of the split. But have you guys seen definitive things here today that would make you think, well, hey, it is G2 or it is Misfits, or maybe it's a totally different team?
Well, it's certainly not Fnatic, right? That much we know for sure now. I mean, I actually have a kind of a different question for you. I was kind of wondering, like, so for me, I've worked with a couple of teams before, and I know that the regular season is kind of more about learning and more about development, because getting wins on the board is obviously really good, and that sets you up for playoffs. But what's really important is just like how much you develop, what skills you learn, what communication systems you can work on. And I was just kind of wondering, like, this comp seems very one-dimensional, and I was just wondering, like, what kind of skill sets do you think your team is learning from playing this funnel strat multiple times? Do you think that's the best approach for your development going into playoffs?
Well, we are learning mostly to make plays as a team, which I think was our biggest problem last split. We have had strong individual lanes, we just couldn't progress the game, and now we are progressing the games really, really fast compared to before. And also, like, to people who think they're saying we are only playing this, it's like complete false. I think we are just better than other teams, so we can pull this out and we can punish if we play against this. We actually like scream with this, some leaks. We scream very little, like really, really little. We just don't get to show our like how you gonna like old meta play or standard play. Like we just don't show it because we think that this is the thing that will make us win easier, right?
So you just keep playing until you lose? Is that the idea?
We just keep playing until they ban every champ that they have to ban from us.
They're going to need more bans than 5, I feel.
They will. We were talking beforehand about how last year Fnatic was dumpstering everyone by playing the Kennen in the bottom lane, and none of the European teams had an answer for it. Then they went to Rift Rivals, and they had to completely revise their strategy. And we were thinking, if you guys are heading to Rift Rivals and playing the funnel strategy, maybe NA just has a fantastic strategy against it, and you just have to change. But that's, I think, your goal. You want to test out these things.
Yeah, well, sure. Like, I'm not sure. Like, I think that like people who think that this is OP and that has no counterplay. Like, I saw a video by a specific player. I'm not gonna name him, but he said that it's so OP and that you cannot do anything against it. And he's in any team. So I think if he actually thinks that he will get so smashed, it's gonna be sad. But there is actually counterplay to this, and it's not so OP as it looks like. Just teams are not good enough to play against it. So I hope that any teams can put up a better challenge, right? Because yeah. I don't think this is broken, but it's for sure strong if you don't, shut it down early.
Yeah, I remember back in week 1, me and Deficio having this conversation. We were like, when Fnatic brought out, we're like, there's no way this keeps working, right? Teams are going to go back and practice and then beat it. And then all of a sudden, you guys on G2, it was making it happen. And I'm still not sold out. I'm in the camp with you where I think there is a lot of room to play around in the early game. We just haven't seen that actually executed well enough from teams, and that's something that I think they're going to have to learn moving forward.
And the question is if we'll see it at Rift Rivals, the counter or not. We'll have to see. As we're talking about possible best teams in Europe, we this afternoon, just a couple of hours ago, looked at the different styles that the best teams in Europe were playing, and what stood out to us is that Misfits has only been playing standard AD carry compositions, the tank in the top lane, and has been doing fantastically well with it. And I'd love to know from you, what do you think of Misfits and what they've shown?
Well, Misfits, to me, has looked like the best team in Europe, right? I mean, us as well, but outside of that, they just play super well. They have strong early game. They don't have any weaknesses in the laning phase. They seem to be winning every single lane with AD carries as well, which is kind of a surprise.
Yeah.
Because I think Misfits bot lane is just really skilled in like that. In the AD carry shenanigans, right? So they are doing really well with that. But maybe against us, they will struggle. I'm not sure. Maybe they will win against. Like, this is just gonna be a clash of styles. It's gonna be like a clash of strategies, and we're gonna see who's gonna come on top. Because I really don't know. Like, we scream against them, and it's like, I'm not gonna leak or anything, but it's like 5-5, right? So they're a good team, and we're a good team, and we'll see who comes on the top on stage.
That's the week after Rift Rivals, I think, when you guys are coming back and playing.
Like in 2 weeks,
in Misfits.
It's gonna be a new patch as well, so we're gonna see like how we're gonna adapt and how they're gonna adapt and what picks we might bring.
But you get practice on that patch at Rift Rivals, and they don't. So
I mean, they have scrims.
They have scrims. That's fair. Fair enough.
But we get stage practice, so that's like that's a plus for us.
Yeah.
Like,
Plus, it probably will be match of the week. I mean, I don't know yet, but it sounds like it would be a pretty good match of the week. Misfits versus G2 Esports. Jarge, you were saying before that Misfits is great, and you think that Maxor is actually, I don't want to quote you incorrectly, best jungler or even one of the best players in Europe.
For me, I think Maxlor is kind of, I actually want your opinion on this. So for me, last play, I thought Sjokz was like really underperforming, and now he looks like a legitimate threat. And for me, a lot of it looks like Maxlor's giving a lot of attention. I think that's really helping him. And I do think some of it is to do with like his confidence level has now gone up, and I think the trust in his team, like the trust in his team and the team's trust in him has gone up, which allows him to make more plays. But for me, I think like in terms of like full package, Maxlor for me is standing out as one of the the early MVP contenders at the moment. And I kind of just wanted to know, like, what is your thoughts on like Sjokz's development this split?
Yeah, I think Maxor and Sjokz are a great duo. Like, we actually learn a lot from them. I mean, I learn a lot from them, and I share it with Jankos and how to play mid jungle together. I think Maxor does it really well, like of protecting and caring for his mid laner. And yeah, for sure, like Sjokz underperformed last split, but he's been like the best mid lane performer this split. I mean, I'm playing jungle only, right? So, and it's just. I don't know about best jungler in Europe. I mean, he's for sure really good. I really dislike when people like put Jankos like number 4 or something because he's been playing Brown.
Yeah, he hasn't been jungling.
Yeah, he's not a jungler, so he's not even on the list.
Like, I think Jankos like is best jungler in Europe, but Maxor is pretty good too. So probably 2 of them together with PerkZ are like the best top 3 teams.
Sure.
Like jungle is just broken roles.
Yeah.
Better jungler always wins.
Yep.
Are we missing someone in this conversation? Misfits, Fnatic, G2. Who is there anyone missing that you want to see in the conversation right now?
Right now, I don't think so, no. Like, I mean, there is some things, for example, like Rocket, who played really bad in the what was it, semifinals last split. But they seem to have like a decent start, right? They're 3-2, I think, so they're like top 4 or 5 or something. They're not low on the table like Giants, which I expected, right? Giants I expected to be really low and H2K, but Rocket like surprised me to be a bit below. I mean above. So I mean I don't think they're in contesting for like top spot of the team, but they're just like they surprise me with how they play.
And this is a common thought. I know Verius is also really sold on Rocket and just thinks that they're approaching the game in a very exciting way. Like Memento is going in early game, and often when you talk about teams that are a bit lower placed, you just see them just going into the game and kind of just rolling over and dying or not doing anything. And that's something we have to credit for Rocket. But how much longevity is there in that? How much potential is there in Rocket?
Sure. So one of the things I've identified about this meta is there's a lot of focus on getting like mid jungle support together and kind of running around the map. And I think Rocket's one of the teams that's doing that really well. What's your thoughts on this? Outside of your kind of funnel strategy games, do you see a lot of this in your scrims?
I mean, yeah, like for sure. I think mid is like really important right now, and everyone should like play around mid the most because just center of the map, and it's not like there is no AD carries that scale into like. I mean, there is some, but like AD carries that not scale into 3 items and then just 1v9.
Yeah.
It's mostly just like playing with pressure and like snowballing the game, and mid is the best to do that. Like you get mid pressure and you go to silence. So jungle and support going into mid is really important, and I think Memento. I forgot to mention him into junglers. Like he's been performing extremely well. I think he's carrying Rocket super hard, winning every early game for them. So Mento is for sure like one of the top performers in the league right now.
Yeah, he's been playing insane. Nice that you guys brought up Rocket. We also asked the people at home who you think is the best team right now in ULCS. And at Phantasm Hero, he tweeted, I support Fnatic, but I'll say G2. They're doing really good in the split, and if they keep it up, they might win the summer split too. That's nice. That's a Fnatic fan who is recognizing that you guys are doing good.
Good prediction.
Yeah, you were. And there was actually one of the only people that predicted G2 to win in our official prediction, Perk, so that's good. It's nice.
Me, Deficio, and Medic, just so you know who your friends are.
Okay.
To be fair, I predicted the style more than the team. I thought that the Bruiser comp had what it took to
Listen to this guy.
beat the funnel comp.
Just kidding. Are you already looking forward to summer split, end of split, or are we just keeping it week?
I'm just taking it week by week, step by step, like improve by improve. Like we are so far yet, like we could get so much better in our scrims, like our scrim practice, and like I want us to be a world level team by the time World comes. Like not just like I want us to be a top world level team by the time World comes, and I want us first to get there, right? So you have to take it step by step, week by week, and then you can get a bye, and then you can get semi-finals win, and you can get finals win. So we'll just take it slowly, and we all aim for the same thing, right? We all are here on this team that we want to win the trophy, like we want to take it, and I think that we've been working really hard, and I think that we will keep working hard, and we just have to make sure to not get complacent, and then we can take it, yeah.
Is there one thought in your mind that you might not make Worlds? Is that even an option?
That's actually like, it has never crossed my mind. Like
Sorry.
I cannot even imagine like not being in the Worlds, right? It's like impossible. Maybe sometimes, but sometimes next years, but no, I can't actually. No, I need to be at Worlds.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, I will be at Worlds, like for sure.
There you go. You will be at Worlds, not getting complacent. Important lesson there. I do want to take a look at one more tweet from @GabrielCollins. Misfits, because the carries Hansama and Sjokz are playing so good. And I just want to touch on Misfits once again because I think it's very inspirational the way that it was embarrassing for them in the spring split, right? They went to Worlds. They almost beat SKT. It was great. They lost a couple of players and they had to reconfigure. But even with that roster, they should have made playoffs at least in spring. So what do you guys make of the route they're on now?
It's looking very good for Misfits. The two standout players, I 100% agree with this tweet, Hansama as well as Sjokz in the mid lane for very different reasons. Hansama, we always knew he was a very strong AD carry player. This split just elevated it to that next level, whereas Sjokz has completely reinvented himself and went from a player that you almost went into games expecting him to lose lane to now just crushing people.
I mean, I kind of agree and disagree because I think I really agree Hans is like a great player, really good AD, but I think that he has looked so good because of his team, not because of him. I mean, partially because of him as well, right? It's like kind of like with me.
Yeah,
I
look good because of your
exactly.
team.
It's true, and it's same for him. I think that Maxer and MikiX have been playing out of their mind. I think MikiX is like insanely talented, so he like always does good engages, and Maxer is like leading early game well, and also like no one even notices the Tonk in the top lane. I think Alfari is like good top laner. No one notices Wunder as well right now, you know, because of the meta, right? But I think those tops are really good. So they as a whole team just shine together, and then as usual, like the mid and AD carries stand out because of they're mostly champions, right? So, but not to take it away from them, Sjokz has been playing insane, and Hans has been playing good too. But I think Hans has been like not the best performer on the team.
It's nice that you mentioned Wonder, that he's not even shining, because he has been on everyone's lips, like everyone's saying.
I mean,
how
like he
Wonder
got a
is
solo kill with
insane.
Ornn or something,
Yeah.
but like no one even cares, you know. He's just
People
smashing,
care.
he's smashing people with tanks, but like you can't even see it because he's just a tank.
So
I mean, he died to level 2 gank today.
oh,
That's a gank that individual that.
awful,
I
awful.
really remember that one.
No, all right. Well, we'll see how everything evolves. It is early to say who is the best team, but it might as well be Misfits or G2 right now. We'll see after Rift Rivals, and at Rift Rivals, of course. You guys should be there. Okay, as we move on to our next part of the show on screen, you're going to see 3 cards. PerkZ, it says pick a card. Now, it has mid laners behind them, and you have to pick.
Oh, it's a mid laners?
Yeah, it's mid laners.
Only
and-
mid laners?
And you have to, this is the first couple of times we run this, so would you rather talk about other people?
No,
in the usual, or-
it's better. It's sort of
It's
mid
better,
laners,
it's
right?
better, it's better. So you can pick one, and then we'll see who's behind that.
Oh, I want the sword.
The sword, red card, there we go.
Give me the sword.
No!
Oh, it's my homie.
Oh
Always
my
gonna
god,
be
it is your
Caps.
homie. It is Caps. What a surprise, really. That no. So this is a cue for us to talk about Caps for a bit, and I know it's about Fnatic versus G2, but people are very interested in this rivalry. So I wanted to know from you, even if it isn't what decides the individual games right now, how important is that rivalry in the context of kind of your career?
Well, okay, so like he's my rival, I guess. I mean, I see him as a rival, but I don't like think about it, or I don't make too much. I really just don't think about it, right? Because it's probably what you see on Twitter or what like broadcast is trying to point out, right? To make a storyline, which I understand, you know. But he is just a good player, and as much as like he had my number over the last couple of months. When the team, like, it's mostly always a team side, like always a team side will win. So yeah, I think he's a strong player, and his MSI performance has been like insane. But I don't think that he's like so much better than other EU mates, or that he's even better than me. So yeah, he's very good. He's very good.
So do you think he was better than you at a point in time, but he's not right now?
Well, at some points for sure, yeah. I mean, he won against me in the finals, so he was better then, and he was better last 2 times we met as well. And he was better in Summer Split. And he was worse in Spring Split because I haven't won against him since Spring Split. So yeah.
Now you won, so right now you're better.
Now I'm better again. Yeah.
Well,
It's so simple, no?
I see how
you
this
win,
works. Yeah,
you're better. You lose, you're worse. Like
Maybe that's how it is. I mean, you do say that it's not something you guys pay attention to, or that it's something that comes from broadcast, but I mean, it is important because you guys are both such important people for your team. You guys are really kind of the advertisement for the team, I should say. And for you, you've been in a position where over the last 2 years, you were always a guy that was always talked about, you know, PerkZ, and also in the context of LCS, one of the best players, the guy internationally who's done really, really well at MSI last year then. Does that bother you that people are more talking about this guy now? They're not like, oh, he's so great and he's maybe one of the best mids in the world. Does that bother you? Not the person in specific, but that they're not talking about you as that person?
Well, I don't actually listen to what people talk, so it cannot bother me, right?
Yeah.
If I did, it would probably bother me. But the thing is, I have enough self-confidence and enough like achievements that I believe that I am the best and I can be the best still, and I will be the best. So it just doesn't matter for me, right? And I think it would be selfish of me if I would be jealous of him succeeding, because I was actually really happy to see him perform so well at MSI. Like, I think he's been the best player at MSI. I mean, he had some lows, but he had like super high highs, which other millionaires haven't had. So it's nice that he's in the Europe as well, because I truly believe that he makes me better. Because him being here, even though as people make it a rivalry, I know that he's very good. So I need to like be better than him, right? And it is a rivalry, but it's not like, oh, I need to win against him, or I'm bad, or I need to win against him, or I cannot go to sleep tonight. You know, it's not like that, but it's like, he's good and I'm good, and we'll see who's gonna be better.
So he makes you better. That is lovely. That is the nicest thing I've ever heard. And you make each other better, because without competition, you would just all stagnate. So then let me ask these guys, who's the better mid laner?
Oh, who's the better mid? Honestly, after MSI performance, I have to go Caps. I'm sorry that he just looked so good in those games.
You called Fnatic's performance at MSI mediocre in your video.
Caps' wasn't. Come on, he was like easily the best mid laner there.
Ooh, I mean, I think Caps played well at MSI, like for sure. And I think like for me, who is the best mid laner? I think right now I would probably say Caps. I think just his performance level has been, you know, given recent form. We have to include like all of Spring Split too. I think given recent form, Caps maybe takes the edge. But I think, you know, like of all time, I think your career like just hugely, like, you know, kind of overpowers his career. Like your level of achievements, I think definitely are better. So I would say all time, definitely you. But I think Caps maybe right now. But given your performance, you know, this split, maybe it's time for you to take it back.
I love this because as a European LCS fan, this is great because we have two guys who are doing great and two teams that are doing fantastically. Let me ask you this finally. You say you're not bothered. Whatever, it's good. You make each other better, but you're not really bothered. You don't think about it. Do you think he does? Do you think he thinks about that rivalry?
I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, yeah. I mean, we used like when we were roles. Like of course, like during the splits, we would never talk. But the roles, like we were pretty close friends. Like we were talking a lot about matchups and like our team problems and stuff. So we are like when it's split, of course we are enemies. But when it's like EU versus NA, then we are friends, right?
Yeah.
So yeah. Well, I'm gonna say that he doesn't care.
Okay.
And he just wants to be better than me, anyways, right?
Yeah. Anyway.
Because he wants to be
So
the
he does
best.
care.
But I like he cares about being the best, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's like, I don't know if it's because of me. Like, let's say if someone else was there, like, I don't know, Nugdag or someone, like, he would probably want to be better than him, but I don't think he would care about, he would probably want to be the best, but I don't think he would care about specifically be better than him. But maybe he does, and maybe I'm wrong, and maybe this is all like.
Yeah.
I think it's mostly just about being the best, right? It's not about being better than someone else. It's just like being the best. That's like the best feeling, yeah. That's for sure.
And I think that's interesting because if you have been the best or if you know you can be, you can afford to think like that and you should think like that. But I think when it comes to players that are not at that level, they very often think that they have to show that they are better than someone. They have to send out a tweet to do it. And that kind of changes when you're in the top tier, or am I reaching here?
Well, I mean, when you get to the top tier, your actions speak louder than words. Lower level players, they got to talk a big game so that they can feel like they're up at, your guys' level, right?
Yeah. I mean, kind of like that, yeah. Okay. I don't get much trash talk my way, so I don't know, but I guess it is like that, yeah.
No, PerkZ doesn't get a lot of trash talk his way, so maybe the players, when you're doing videos, just, poke the bear a little bit. We're going to take a look at when your next matchup is. That is week 7, Saturday, the 4th of August, is G2 versus Fnatic. So Caps versus PerkZ, all that stuff. No, it's interesting to think about how different everything is going to be because obviously the meta is going to change most likely. We have that huge wild card in Fnatic where Bwipo is now playing bottom lane and Reckless hasn't played. What do you think of that whole situation?
Well, I think it's good for them, right? Because Bwipo has been performing better with Hillison than Reckless. I mean, it's because of the meta, right? Like Reckless was playing Janna and stuff, but maybe they could. I think Fnatic is a kind of team that could pull out the AD carries because they've just played really well last split like that. But they probably tried in scrims, right, and didn't have as much success as with Bwipo. So they put Bwipo in, which makes just logical sense because Bwipo can play Aurelia, Swain, Yasuo, but every kind of champ he can play in the bot lane, which is, by many people's opinions, stronger than the AD carries itself. So, yeah, it's been working for them. Today they got Supad, so not much they can do, but they will probably smurf again tomorrow. I don't know who they're playing, but I assume they're going to just smurf over them. So
if the meta changes tomorrow and AD carries are super strong, or are strong, I shouldn't say, are strong again, and everything.
Misfits have been playing AD carries. Yeah. They're getting a bad rap, but they're 100% playable.
I think people make too much memes about the AD carries not being playable. I think AD carries are playable. We play AD carries as well, and it's just in a lot of cases something else is better, and some cases AD carries are not as good, right? But AD carries are for sure playable, and they are still fine. Just some cases, I can't go into detail, right? But some cases, some other champs are better.
I think AD carries are super fine at the moment. I mean, if anyone has looked at Reckless's solo queue, they've seen that he's absolutely destroying everyone in AD carries and solo queue right now. And, like, he's got years of experience. and he's played with this roster for a long time. And, you know, back when AD carries were good, he looked like maybe the best player in the region. So there's no reason why if Fnatic start playing AD carries again, I think they would struggle. I think they'd just be fine.
Jarge, as someone who's worked with a lot of teams, what do you think of maybe like the implications behind the scenes? You know, Reckless is the superstar AD carry who's now not playing on stage. Beepo is getting a bit of praise. He's working well within the team. How easy will it be to slot him back in?
Well, really, it just comes down to his personality and the way he deals with it, right? And the way the staff deal with it. Obviously, the staff have to do what's best for the team. And if, you know, we heard that this was Reckless's idea in the first place. And if he's not comfortable playing bruisers and playing mages and he feels that, you know, it's better for the team for Beepo to take it there, then I don't see why they wouldn't do this. And it's the same thing with G2's funnel strat. It's like, why would they show all their cards if they don't have to? And, you know, what they're playing with Beepo is getting them wins and it's getting them to playoffs. And really, the regular season is about their development and how well they can kind of build all the systems that they need before going into playoffs and then going into Worlds. And I think that, you know, if Fnatic continue to develop in the way that they are, I think they are going to be a really difficult team to prepare for at the World Championships and at playoffs. So I think it's perfectly fine. It just comes down to whether Reckless personally is happy with it.
And as a positive thing for Fnatic is also they don't have to kind of deal with the SOAS Bwipo situation in the top lane for a bit because they're both playing. You were mentioning, by the way, that Bwipo is insanely good and that people are sleeping on him because he can show these things in the top lane as well.
I think his mechanics are really good, but what speaks more to me is the way he talks about the game. You can tell in interviews and stuff, he really understands the game on like a deeper level than most people who have his level of experience. I know he's played in like some other regions, but typically when you come to a major region like EU, the level steps up a bit and you kind of are expected to learn to automatically know more about like the fundamentals of the game. You know, it's like coordination, communication, teamwork, all these kinds of things that are, you know, super important and are kind of expected to be automatically understood by players in these positions. And for me, I think Bwipo has picked up a lot of these things very fast, much faster than most people I see in his position.
Do you agree with that, or can you not really?
I mean,
tell?
I don't know Bwipo, and I don't know how
He's the top/bottom laner for Fnatic.
I mean, I don't know him, so I don't know how much he knows about the game, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's hard for me to judge.
Yeah, if we have to go by, people talk about the game a lot, so they're good, then, you know, Vedius would be good, but it's not the case. So what can we do?
He's getting a Nocturne.
Yeah.
Come on, give us
I'm kidding. We love you, Vedi. Of course we do. PerkZ, final thing. Now we talk about players that maybe we don't think about that often, but are really good. Is there someone in the EU LCS who you'd like to give some praise to who doesn't always get it?
Okay. My teammates?
Anyone, really.
All of them?
Yeah.
My teammates, all of them?
No, anyone on your team or anyone in the EU LCS, any player.
No, he's saying
all of my
his
teammates.
Oh, crap, sorry. It's been a long day.
We'll tell him to stop picking
All of my
supports and then
teammates.
we can talk
Especially
about
like
them.
Jan and Madrid have been playing really, really well this split.
Yeah.
And Jankos is better support than I thought he would be. Like, he has good game knowledge. Like, better than most of the supports in LCS probably, which is pretty sad for you, but it's fine.
His brawl mechanics were insane, by the way. So good.
Do you wish we would talk a bit more about your bottom lane and stuff than only about you and the mid lane matchups?
Yeah, because, I mean, mostly just about the team in general, right? Because I really don't think it comes up to the mid lane matchup ever. It's always about the team. So it creates more hype around the mid lane matchup, but if you like compare the team styles or like how teams play well together, then you can see like who is clearly the better team. So.
Okay. Note taken. We'll write it down. And let's take a look at the predictions for today's games and see if there's any weird discrepancies. Oh, well.
Hey, who changed this? I saw 4 Fnatic, no?
Oh, no. I was G2 all day.
Yeah.
Just at the
He
start.
was G2 early, and so the Fisho and Medic
okay.
also G2 Esports. For the rest, it's pretty... Jarge had the Unicorns of Love vote, but Vitality completely smashed them. So that's unlucky. And then a lot of, I don't know, it's just like, when there's Fnatic versus G2, you're always like, oh, let's just go Fnatic, you know, but you don't really think about, that's what I
Unless
did.
you think really hard about it and
That's a nice
break
excuse.
down G2 are going to win the game.
Nice excuse, I didn't think about
Can we
it.
just point out that you were
Just randomly picked a number.
No, not randomly. It's just like, you know, they won the spring
They won the
finals,
last 10 times they played, it's fine.
No,
Just give them the win.
Result-based analysis for
Yeah.
the future. And the fans, we have a fan vote. I don't know if you noticed, but the fans can vote on Twitter until 90 minutes before the start of the show. They can send in their predictions. So they're actually battling Deficio, and the other analysts right now. And, well, they're doing pretty well. They also had Fnatic, but when you ask the fans, unfortunately, you know how it is. It would mostly be Fnatic. Fnatic! They're hardcore. Well, we will have some more predictions tomorrow. We're going to gear up for another 5 games in the summer split. Our last 5 games in EU before Rift Rivals. So let's take a look at what we have on the slate. Let's see. Splice is going to Rift Rivals as well, and they won today.
Oh, thank God, man.
Versus HTK. But will they win versus Rocket?
If they didn't win today, I would like not board the same plane.
Yeah, it would have been bad. I think
Yeah.
Wamne on Euphoria also said this is must-win week. H2K and Rocket, we need that. And after how they played today, I think they have pretty good chances versus Rocket as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe they can take the win over Rocket. What do you think? Do you think they can do the 2-0?
I'm not sure. I mean, I would say Rocket wins.
Ooh,
But
that'll change my
I
prediction.
think Memento is just too big of a smurf for the whole Splice tomorrow, and I think he's gonna like absolutely man the game.
Yeah.
So we're gonna see, but I think that Splice's only good performer has been Niski so far this split. He's been there by far best performer. Like he's been here, and everyone else has like been here. I mean, I haven't watched every single other game, but from watching some of them, like he's here and everyone else is here. So yeah, if they shut on Niski, there is no way they can win.
I am changing my prediction to Rocket, and it's your
I
fault.
convinced you. Okay.
It's your fault if it doesn't work.
Join the club, Sjokz.
Cool. And then G2 versus Unicorns of Love. At the end of the day, Unicorns of Love had a resurgence last week. Do you think there's any dangers that you lose that game at all?
I thought the Unicorns was a pretty good team. Yeah, and today they looked pretty bad though. So we're gonna see tomorrow. Maybe they just had an off day, but
Yeah.
I mean we are gonna win.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is like the comp they were playing as well versus Vitality's comp. Like it's a super snowbally meta, and they were playing really snowbally comps, and Vitality ran it down mid first and got the advantage, and then it just became.
Yeah, it's true. I think the draft was like I think they got drafted today.
Well, we'll see tomorrow. 5 more games, but over in the NALCS Academy. The show is coming up with Cloud9 versus Team Liquid, and as always, we'll have a rebroadcast of the EU LCS after the action across the Atlantic, and then we can come back here and do some more EU LCS live. Fantastic. That'll be it from us here in Berlin. PerkZ, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me, and have a pleasant night. And
Yeah.
all of you too.
Yeah, we will. Thank you for joining me as well. For the analysts, we will be back tomorrow for more action in the ELCS. Have a fantastic night.
Ruin, he's going down now. All right, here goes Prophet. And here comes Memento out of nowhere.
That was clean.
Still back, last man standing. What can he do? It's one, but he got it. Oh, still back. Max will get pulled back into a fight with Amazing, and a full channel of the culling is going to be dumped into the Aurelia before the Mundo finally gets the finishing play. Everyone from Shotgun is evaporating.
Whoa! Goodbye. Promised you, H2K are rushing if they're going to be able to get this one down. Unless Splice can get in the pit. Gonna be stolen! How did Sjokz do it? In the ensuing fight, though, Onuame trying to wreck face. The Wraith Blade is stacking, and the Titanic Hydra is tearing apart H2K. It's available. Will he need it? Not gonna just yet. Dunk! Death from below. He's forced a flash already. Vitality have already got themselves one. That's a solo kill for Jazuke.
G2 completes his next major item is going to become scary. And if Caps dies, ooh.
And it's sent way the wrong way. It may not matter though. G2 are in a better position with a numbers advantage, and they've got themselves a super Zion. Yarnin and Wadid now diving into the pit. Baron is going to be the focus. It's going to be donated. It's gift wrap. It's packaged, and it's given to G2 Esports.